folks. Good morning. It's time to talk antiques once again. We all got a lively group here this morning, just raring to go.
Everybody but Max.
Giddy up. You know, I can't figure Max out. I hadn't heard from him lately.
I think Max is probably ready to go.
That's probably a blessing. You
He's
know,
probably still sleeping.
You know, that's a blessing probably because he's out golfing. You know, he'd have you caddying.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
That'd be hard on you to carry that bag, and because he wouldn't want to use a cart if you was caddying.
He'd want me to do some swinging for him, probably. Would.
Probably.
You do the caddying for him.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so today, if we get to it, the one thing that we're going to do, we read this article. It's called "Lightning in a Bottle," and what it's about when records was the king in the 20s, and then radio comes along and shakes up the record companies. So they actually had to get out and hustle up new acts, from blues to country music, but it's bluegrass and.
It's when they actually got out and found the voice of the people out in the country.
Oh yeah.
They kind of, it was really a blessing in disguise for both of them.
Oh yeah.
Turned out to be.
But you're right though that the radio became the voice of the people.
Hmm?
So
Right now you're listening to the voice of the people.
so Philip,
Yes.
let's get started on lightning in a bottle.
Okay. Catching lightning in a bottle is what musicians called it in the sliver of time between World War I and World War II, right before all the money dried up and radio had all the record companies running scared.
New technology, right?
There you go. Everybody's always scared of it. Scared enough to leave their city studios and comb the prairies, the hilltops, and down into the Delta for new talent, or at least a new market. And so for the 1920s and 30s, and considering the existing technology, the recording studios did a pretty good job. They not only had the juice, but they democratized America, at least for a while. There's a PBS special going on right now called American Epic, which documents the battle between radio and recording studios, portraying it as a happy accident of the status quo being shaken up by the new technology. Mm-hmm. Had it not been for radio, America would have never heard itself, is one of the chief tenets of the American Epic show. London director Bernard McMahon calls American Epic his love letter to the United States. It's the story of one of the great moments in American history when the voices of the working people, minorities, and rural people throughout the country were first heard. It celebrates all that he admires about the country, its rich culture, technological innovation, entrepreneurism, and its freedom of speech. So the record company searches first made the plaint of the lonesome cowboy, the yodel of the Appalachian country singer, the flying-fingered Cajun fiddlers from Louisiana, the well-cadenced gospel preachers of the Deep South, and blues guitarists bending strings from the Mississippi Delta, Tejano groups bringing colors from the Tex-Mex border, and a singing coal miner from West Virginia. And it was America, nearly 100 years ago.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah. So, let me get over here. So today there's virtually no documentation of these extraordinary events, according to American Epic, which nearly 90% of the recording masters have been destroyed. So there's an old saying in the music recording industry, to get the very best sound, the performance needs to be played back on its original equipment. If it's recorded on reel-to-reel, then you play it back on reel-to-reel, and that's the way that works. Which is absolutely true.
We were discussing that last week or the week before about the amps.
Yeah.
To get the original sound,
Yeah.
you need the original cheap type amp.
Yeah, every time you change it from one thing to the other, it's the sound changes. That's what when I worked in Nashville, I got to go to mastering a couple of times, and that's where you actually have all 10 songs or so, and the mastering engineer adjusts the level and the EQ between all the songs and the space between the songs, and you get your finished album. And you'd be there for a day or two, and you would go to this place with just amazing speakers and just wonderful, and you would hear the record better than anybody else is ever going to hear the record. So,
Right, yeah. 'cause
From
you
that
know-
mastering studio?
Made bad talent
From the
sound
mastering
good.
studio?
yeah.
Oh, lots of times.
Yeah, I mean, you make the master there, and you try to make it so that it'll sound good on everybody's system. Is the idea of it,
Of course,
but
everyone's
it's
system's different.
but it's never going to sound better than $75,000 speakers,
Lord,
and
no.
an
No.
optimal room, and it was wonderful. I love that. So okay, back to the story. So if things were recorded in 1929 era, Western Recording's studio equipment to make the optimum recording, you simply don't find the equipment for playback. But finally, a starter piece was found in Pennsylvania. It was in a family's basement, and they paid a whole bunch of money for the machine and shipped it to Burbank. A sound engineer reassembled the parts of the recording system. It consisted of a single microphone, a 6-foot amplifier rack, and a live record cutting lathe powered by a weight-driven pulley system of clockwork gears.
Yeah, it's just like a grandfather's clock.
Right, yeah.
Amazing.
The musicians would roughly have 3 minutes to record their song direct to disc before the weight hit the floor. It is thought to be the only working vintage recording studio in the world. In the 1920s they called it the Lightning Catcher.
So, Ray, I asked you the question before we even went on air. What was, because you've been around country music all your life, and other music, and you said the average song was 3 minutes. So not doubting you, I looked it up and you was dead on.
Yeah, it's-
Average song is 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And well,
So I say that this
this
probably set the pace.
It probably had something to do with
today,
Yeah.
you know.
You know,
Some-
that reminds me like my own old brother, Where Art Thou? They come in and told the guy they'd pay him to sing into his can.
Yeah.
That's basically what they were doing.
And and
And he was cutting it
Yeah.
into his song.
yes,
As they sang.
and I think even here at this station, they could actually do that at one time. You know, they actually had that set up because they used to have groups in here playing all the time. They could actually record that,
Yeah.
and make a record.
That's how they did it back in
Wow.
the 30s.
But I was telling you too before we went on air. I actually have one of those pieces. I don't have the blanks, but I could actually cut.
You
If I
have
had a blank, I
lathe,
could-
a
yeah.
vinyl or a record
I could do
lathe?
the record.
Lathe?
Yeah, we
That's,
need to find
that's
it.
awesome.
A lot of things, they're talking about going back to vinyl.
Well, I think you
everybody's
said.
wanting
Yeah.
vinyl now.
Speaking of that, Ray, Philip had something
I
interesting.
found an article. Jack White, who's a rock musician from Detroit, who's moved to Nashville. He's in charge of Third Man Records, and he has opened the first new vinyl recording plant in 35 years in his hometown of Detroit. So he's hired 50 employees, and he's a big supporter of vinyl records, and he owns a record store in Nashville, and he's just trying to,
Well, vinyl is coming
Well,
back.
he
isn't it?
knows something
Vinyl's
there,
coming
and
back.
He's going to jump
Be
in where no one's
successful.
at.
He has at his record store in Nashville. You can go in there and record your own record, and it's like a bunch of really famous people have gone there, and like Neil Young and people like that have gone and recorded in his little booth, and I think it's like $20, and they have a single and a blank there, and you go in the little booth and you can sing and play guitar or whatever, and it cuts direct to disc.
Or tell a story.
And you leave with a 45.
Kind of like Elvis did his son for his mother.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. I've never gotten around to do it yet. I know. I bet.
There's some blanks right there.
I bet we can get in touch with them and get some blanks for you, Dave.
Well, we just need one.
Oh, you go. Well,
But it looks-
we need about 10 or 20. We gotta make it.
But now, I think it
Quite a few
records
songs
the
on
78 size, you know.
Oh yeah, probably
Yeah,
so.
so I guess it would do the 45, but I know it'd do
we'd
up.
have to figure
I
out.
don't know if it'd do a 33,
Yours might be.
but I know it'd do a 78.
It wouldn't be. It's not vinyl on the old ones. It's shellac.
Yeah.
Which is why.
Well, I think this does actually. I think it is vinyl, but it only does the.
You might be able to do multiples, but
Yeah, like the
different
singles.
kinds. Yeah.
And at one time, they only had songs on one side of it, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they come up with the idea and they figured out how to do it on both sides.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of times that was just a one-sided record.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why there's all the 78s are gone is because they were made out of shellac, and if you dropped them, they just shattered. They didn't.
You don't even have to drop
Mess
them.
up, yeah.
I've got a bunch of those. They'll just crack.
Yeah.
Just from heat and stuff. You got to have them in the right temperature.
Yeah.
Heat or cold. So extreme either way could cause it to crack.
That
It
was-
weakens it.
One of the problems, yeah. Okay.
So
Speaking of 78s,
yeah. But you're talking about
Big
lightning in the bottle.
yeah,
You done all this recording.
yeah.
So, can you tell the difference between a vinyl record being played and a CD?
Oh, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what's the difference?
The
What you hear sounds different or what? What is the?
CDs are a whole lot better than they used to be.
All the imperfections
But they,
in the vinyl, that's what makes them
like
unique.
say, yeah, the vinyl is analog, which means that the sound wave never stops playing to you, and a CD is sampled 44,100 times per second, which is like you would think that you couldn't hear that was 44,000 different sounds being played per second, but you can. It's just like you can tell the difference. And if you're somebody who listens for stuff
Yeah.
like that, if you're not, it's fine.
Well, evidently it's fine. They sell zillions of them.
Depends on how much tobacco you've been smoking.
Yeah.
Well, now
And what time?
they're actually going to do away with CDs, aren't they?
I CDs are really not selling well, so
Yeah,
I hear
they're
they're
easy.
Well,
they're
they're
going
doing-
out.
And
Believe it or
digital
not, I
downloads.
have heard of new bands releasing albums on cassette again.
Really?
Which is really bizarre because you think you don't really see cassette players around.
But can't
very
you go
much
somewhere
anymore.
like iTunes and actually those albums that they release? Can't you do like one song or whatever? Buy
yeah.
those one songs and
Yeah, you can just download it and put it on all your devices, and
I've heard of some doing them just
I don't
download
know.
only because they're just wasting their money on.
I just got a
The
little
CDs.
player plays them all.
oh, they do?
Yeah.
Huh?
And play 78s.
Will it play your 8-track?
Yep.
Now I tell you what, you got something there, ain't you? Most people don't.
Get back, it doesn't play that.
They don't.
and then
No,
play
I-
it tracks.
Well, listen, we only got a couple minutes, and you want to finish the story up before we start going into the search. But maybe you might not be able to finish the story up. We might have to do it as we roll back. But is there a couple more?
Well, just got a couple of little things on it. Tefteller, the guy involved in this, has a distinction of having the highest price, which is $37,100 for a record. 1930 single, 78 recording of blues legend Tommy Johnson. The two songs on the record are Alcohol and Jake Blues. Alcohol and Jake Blues, and Riding Horse. Considered masterpieces of the era, with legendary figures Robert Johnson, no relation to the Robert Johnson, Charlie Patton, Skip James, and Sonny House. He also has the open bounty of $25,000 to anyone who can turn up a copy of Kickin' in My Sleep Blues and the B-side Window Blues by Willie Brown.
So y'all need to get to looking for those.
And he said he paid more than $25,000 to a Northern Kentucky picker who had a record of 1920s era guitarist songwriter William Harris. So, Dave, you need to look through your collection and give this guy
Well,
a call.
I think what I need to do is have you come look through it. You know more about it than me. Okay, with that, let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking!
Madeline's Antiques and Uniques at 6107 Murfreesboro Road in Manchester has been helping collectors find just the right thing since 2008. With 40 quality dealers and a constantly changing inventory of collectibles from the 1800s to the present, they have many unique items in the store and new things coming in daily. Are you looking for the perfect lamp or clock to finish your collection? A vintage lunchbox from your childhood? Well, you can find that plus any number of other unique items in their huge building. With their easy access off I-24, they meet many travelers from around the world and just around the corner that come to buy and sell antiques, or just to stop and have a free cup of coffee and a cookie while browsing around the store. Come visit owner Madeline Kemp and travel back in time at Madeline's Antiques and Uniques. So many memories.
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
Hey everybody, we're back with Talking Antiques, and the number here is 728-1320.
You know, I believe old Max has forgot that number. He hadn't called in a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard from him at all.
Yeah, well.
Maybe out chasing rabbits or something when he's not swinging.
He might ought to chase rabbits instead of play golf. At least he'd have something to eat,
He'd
wouldn't
be
he?
better.
Well, he'd have something to eat.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Okay, as we usually do, you know, we've had the story now, so we've went in on the search. So what are we going to search first?
First, we'll just cover blues records here.
And I can't believe.
You got a Hank Mobley. He's actually 3. He holds the top 3 slots for Hank Mobley's self-titled Blue Note. That's just called Hank Mobley.
32 bids on that thing.
Yeah. There was 32 bids, went for $5,500 from Seoul, South Korea, the copy. And then 40 bids went for $5,478. And then
where's that from though? Look at that.
That's from the United Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
And then one from the U.S. went for $4,619 with 13 bids on it. So I don't know Hank Mobley, but apparently
well, somebody knows him.
There's no kidding that Mom's Mobley with it.
I don't know. Okay, here's the next is Cavaliers Blue Ska and I-Man, and it's blank on the label and just handwritten on it in pencil as to what it was. Rare 7-inch, 46 bids for $4,100.
And that's from Jamaica.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't guess. Here is a 78 RPM Robert Johnson, Kind-Hearted Woman Blues and Terrapin Blues. Very good to excellent condition. 2 bids on that went for $4,000. Shades of Blue by Don Rendell Quartet. This is from the United Kingdom. There's 2 copies of that, and then they went for 31 bids, $3,109 and $3,044 with 22 bids. So, man.
Another United Kingdom.
Yeah. Here's another one, which is Leonard Coggin. Oh, this is actually not a blues thing. This is violin concerto.
Yeah, but it brought a lot of money.
$3,500 for Leonid Coggin, Brahms violin concerto.
How about Willie Walker?
Willie Walker for the South Carolina Rag and Dupree Blues. 78 record, says it's in excellent condition. Only 3 bids on it, but it went for $2,605. Man. Sonny Clark on Blue Note Records. The 6 bids on that album went for $2,500. Charles Brantley, Can't Get Enough of You, 1966. Blue Cat promo, 45. They were asking $3,000 and they got somewhere around $2,500 off of that one. Johnny Griffin, he's a saxophone player. He's actually, it says their jazz album. Near Mint, they were asking $2,750 and got about $2,500 for that. And then they had another Buy It Now they got for $2,375 of that one.
There's money in records.
Yeah, you gotta store them right though. I mean, they're more maintenance than lots of stuff.
And there's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
You better have a good solid floor.
You're exactly right.
I know a guy one time that was a big record collector, and he lived in a mobile home. The floor fell out.
Huh.
I can believe that.
And there was so many. He had so many records.
Particle board wouldn't hold up. Would it?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
He had to redo his whole floor. But he sold his collection. I guess he could have bought anything he wanted once he sold that collection. It was a real rare collection.
Here's OK Records, Birmingham Jug Band, with the Bill Wilson and the Birmingham Blues are the 2 songs on that one. And 23 bids went for $2,247.
You know, our listeners, I know there's a lot of them got some of these records.
Oh, my
They've
daughter's
got
got
to be out
probably
there.
100.
They're out there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Here's Kid Bailey. This is double-sided 78. It had Mississippi Bottom Blues and Rowdy Blues on it. And 34 bids for that record, $2,177.
Wow.
Good Lord.
Man, these old blues records are some money.
Especially the obscure artists.
Yeah, people that we've never
That's
heard
what they
of.
want. They want artists that you don't hear all the
Yeah,
time.
let me find this.
Some of the original.
Doing a good
Yes.
job. I hadn't heard none of them.
Well, you've heard of Robert Johnson, though.
Yo,
Here's speaking of Robert Johnson, here's a 78 RPM Robert Johnson unissued test record recording of Traveling Riverside Blues. 34 bids on that went for $1,714. That would be pretty nice to have.
Nice. Looked like it was penciled in, the label.
Yeah, that's what it was, the test
Yeah.
pressing.
Here's Blind Willie.
Well, where is Blind Willie Parker? Southern Can and Mama Blues. 3 bids on that one went for $1,676. It's old blues records, man. Cannon's Jug Stompers with the Viola Lee Blues on it. It only has 1 song on it, and it went for 17 bids, $1,600. It was an RCA Victor too. It was a major label. Clifford Johnson, Don't Put That Thing on Me, 78 RPM, and the Jive Me Blues. 3 bids on it went for $1,600. Let's see if we got any. Kansas Joe and Memphis Minnie, You Stole My Cake. The song on that one. 4 bids on it went for $1,525. Another one. Mississippi Sheiks, New Shake That Thing, 78 RPM. It says less than 5 of these records exist, and it went for $1,500 as a Buy It Now. Let's see what else. Rare Elvis Presley Moody Blue RCA 45 on green vinyl. The original, 28 bids went for $1,469.
Green vinyl.
$4 shipping. You know, I might have offered free shipping, with that.
Yeah.
We just included in with it. Let's see. Bear Creek Blues and Black Jack David, the Carter family. 78 RPM record. 13 bids on it. Went for $1,404. There's not quite a blues record, but Pink Floyd Adam Hart Mother on blue vinyl from Latin America, Colombia. Latin America went for $1,400. 1927 recording of Blind Willie Johnson, Jesus Make Up My Dying Bed. covered, which also was recorded by Bob Dylan and Led Zeppelin. I know the Zeppelin's version. They were asking $1,500 and got probably around $1,400. It looks like on that. Thad Johnson, The Magnificent Blue Note. 31 bids on that, went for $1,375. Yank Rachel and Dan Smith, Gravel Road Woman. 4 bids on that, went for $1,313. Man, I've not heard a majority of these. Here's Elvis Presley, Milk Cow Blues Boogie for '78. They were asking $1,600 and looks like they got about $1,300 for that.
Where it come from?
It was a Sun Records one too. Oh, it came from.
It never did milk no cows, did it?
Yeah, it came from the United Kingdom too. Somebody took one to England. Here is Doc Boggs, Brunswick, a '78 of Hard Luck Blues and Country Banjo. There were 4 bids on that, went for $1,300. Man. Let's see, you got anything?
What's that Columbia?
People I see. Where'd we go? Okay. Curly Weaver. The No Blues by, Curly Weaver. 5 bids on it, $1,247. Man, these $1,200.
And you know the sad thing?
78s.
When I was a kid, of course I'm 67. I remember as a kid, 7 or 8 years old, throwing those records just to watch them fly too.
Oh yeah.
So no telling how many good records, because we had those old 78s and stuff, heavy.
Oh yeah,
But they'd sail.
Some of them would
They'd
be
fly.
harder than others.
They'd fly good too.
Oh yeah. Now we got 2 minutes.
You got the buddy.
Okay.
So why don't you give us a couple more? Then we'll come back. We'll look up some of those bluegrass and.
Okay. We have Memphis Jug Bands, 1930 '78. Papa's Got Your Bathwater On. 4 bids on it, went for $1,236. Here's a Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, their first album, original mono, 37 bids, $1,217 from the UK. Buddy Holly's self-titled first album, rare original 58 coral blue promo LP. First pressing, 17 bids, $1,225.
Give us that Victor, and then let's take a break.
Okay, we have another Memphis Jug Band, Caveman Blues, 1930. 8 bids on it, went for $1,205.
You ready to get out of here and take a break?
Sure.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in and get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking!
Madeline's Antiques and Uniques at 6107 Murfreesboro Road in Manchester has been helping collectors find just the right thing since 2008. With 40 quality dealers and a constantly changing inventory of collectibles from the 1800s to the present, they have many unique items in the store and new things coming in daily. Are you looking for the perfect lamp or clock to finish your collection? A vintage lunchbox from your childhood? Well, you can find that plus any number of other unique items in their huge building. With their easy access off I-24, they meet many travelers from around the world and just around the corner that come to buy and sell antiques, or just to stop and have a free cup of coffee and a cookie while browsing around the store. Come visit owner Madeline Kemp and travel back in time at Madeline's Antiques and Uniques. So many memories.
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sale. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
All right, we're back, folks, with Let's Talk Antiques. And
Well,
we're dealing with some records.
Yeah. Well, you know, as the story was going here, they said that the record companies had to get out, and they went to the hills, they went to the Delta, they went everywhere. So now we're in the hills, right?
Right.
We're
there we
doing the
go.
bluegrass.
We got some bluegrass. Here's a pre-war. This is just a vocal, I believe. It's Free Little Bird by Ridgell's Fountain Citizens. 2 bids on that one went for $1,500.
And then it drops.
And then it drops. Here's Prince Albert Hunt. It says Blues in a Bottle, $500. And then you get to Alison Krauss and Union Station, 3 LP vinyl record that went for $250. I wonder why an Alison Krauss record went for $250.
That was about the old brother.
It's by it now, too, so it might have brought more.
Here's
yeah, very good.
Mandolin Orange. It's is the band Such Jubilee. This is a test pressing of the record. 30 bids on that went for $232. Here's a Phonotone record, Bill and Paul Bluegrass Travelers, White House Blues. 2 bids on it for $203.50. Alison Krauss, Now That I Found You, original 1995 LP. 2 of them. One of them went for $250 and one of them went for $200. Curly King and his Tennessee Hilltoppers. A Prepared Place. And that went 3 bids on it for $170. 1965, Curly Dan and Wilma Ann. They recorded the
You know, that almost rhymes.
Detroit Hillbilly Bluegrass.
Don't it? Curly Dan and
14 bids on that one for $155. A lot of activity for it to stop at $155. Here's the Lewis Brothers, When Summer Comes Again, 78. Went 9 bids, $145.
Is that the one on the Victor label?
Yeah. Rare Hillbilly, 45. Rufus Schaffner. Got Anything Good, and Why Do You Treat Me That Way? And it brought 19 bids on it for $139.49. So bluegrass does not quite bring as much as the old blues does. No, not at all.
Well,
Allison autographed album of Windy City went for $125.
well, try Western records.
How about country western?
Okay, there you go. What,
Here,
now, are we getting any better?
No.
Not really.
No.
So what we got there?
We got a country western swing, Fort Worth Doughboys, recording Nancy Jane and Bluebird. 5 bids on it went for $166.50. You got an old Jim Reeves record, Singing Down the Country Lane. Original mono, and that from 1956, was $150 for the Buy It Now. Here's a lot of 30 country western albums. Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Hank Williams, Ernest Tubb, 39 in all. 17 bids went for $102.50.
Golly.
So yeah, they don't bring
That's
that much.
just what, a little over $2.50 or so a piece.
There you
or
go.
something?
I mean, here's Johnny Cash.
$3 or so or something.
Yeah, Johnny Cash 12-inch vinyl. What is this called? Country Western Superstar. Or is that just calling him that? 35 bids on it. Western Superstar. $88. So yeah, they're Johnny Burnett, Red Wax Country Western Hits, 7 bids, $57.98. So sorry, but the country record and the bluegrass haven't held up as well.
So
we got next?
So what we need to do now is since the radio and the record company is competing, Ronnie, you've got completed vintage radios, right?
Yeah, we've got some.
And so
radios
maybe you
here.
need to get down here and do these.
Okay.
So I have a National Panasonic quartz synthesized receiver.
Recording
It was
studio.
a buy now, brought $6,999. I had a vintage National Panasonic 24-band radio, AM, FM, Citizens Band. Brought, might as well say $4,000. Buy it now.
You got any of them, Ray?
Wish I did.
We have an ultra rare
I'd be out playing with Max on golf.
Yeah.
1938 Emerson Ingram designed radio phono in working condition. Looks like a little whiskey barrel with a lid.
How much did it bring?
29 bids, $2,705.
Hey, you know when you walk in here, just as soon as you walk in the front door on the left, they have a vintage radio that works.
Yes, son.
Yeah.
It did work. Does it still work?
The original does not work. It's,
Oh.
it's all smoke and mirrors. There's actually a boom box behind
Aha, okay.
it. Yes, it did work at one time.
All right.
So we have a 1933 Art Deco Tom Thumb Jr. Bakelite and chrome antique tube radio. Had 29 bids, brought $2,412. Then we had an old antique Caitlin Emerson vintage tube radio. This one's been restored and it works. Looks like a little desktop radio. 52 bids, brought $2,085. Now this is a weird looking little radio right here. Looks like it's the radio sits in the middle and the speakers stack on it.
Huh.
It's an Atelier 1 Braun Dieter Rams mid-century tube radio.
What's that mean?
I have no idea, but it brought $1,700.
That's an awful lot of big words.
Yes, for me, that was a mouthful. We had a 1939 Jim, a mint, silver tone, solid black ebony Bakelite radio. Said it plays. Brought $1,795 as a buy it now, and it's a pretty little thing. From the side view, it kind of looks like a big flashlight. They had a vintage Zenith. It's kind of like the Waltons.
That's like a tabletop, isn't it?
Yes, it's Walton's case. Excellent original finish. 9 bids, $1,630. Now they had a rare vintage Art Deco Spartan blue mirrored Bluebird radio. Looks like a satellite dish to me with a speaker in the front of it.
How much that bring?
16 bids, brought $1,691. Now, this is different. This is a 1964. Let me make sure I'm telling you right.
Or what?
Vintage G.I. Joe, Josetta. It's a salesman sample, unmarked.
Oh, it's a little a thing to go like a radio that a soldier would carry.
Green vinyl.
Well, this is
camo
for the
radio.
action figure.
Yeah.
The radio for the action figure.
$1,699.
I don't think it works though.
No, I don't think so.
I don't say I could.
It's $1,700. It better work. It's not.
I say it don't.
Okay, we got a Sala vintage 1960 German tube, Freeburg Studio, a radio and speakers, decoder. It says superb, 10 bids, brought $1,705. Then here is a excellent restored German vintage tube radio from the 1950s. I brought $1,500 with 44 bids. Now this is different. It says vintage 1933 Emerson Walt Disney Mickey Mouse old antique Depression era radio. Brought $1,595 on a buy it now.
Yeah.
Now.
Hey, Ron, type in vintage floor model radios and see what comes up. Because most of those that you're doing is just tabletop stuff, isn't it?
Yes, just small stuff.
Yeah, do that.
Just sell them like that. The stereo will be on one side, radio.
Yeah.
And even, I believe a television was inside.
Yeah, you're right.
Same cabinet.
They call those entertainment centers.
Entertainment centers, right?
Yeah, because you could be entertained.
Yeah.
All right, so Ronnie's done another search. Now, what did you find on floor models?
All right.
What's the highest floor model?
Well, not that high.
Okay.
We've got a vintage Voxola tube floor model radio, $511, 3 bids.
So their floor models are going to be reasonable. So what's the next one?
That looks like a little piece of furniture, really.
Yeah, they did look like furniture.
Beautiful.
They were nice.
Close.
So was those entertainment centers you was talking about.
Right.
And they were high dollar too, though, Ray.
Yes.
You had to make payments on them.
Oh, yeah.
This one looks like a desk. It's 1947 Scott, model 800B, AM FM, floor model radio. Said it powers up. It doesn't say if it plays, but he brought $500.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got one that looks like a grandfather clock.
Really?
Says a vintage rare Westinghouse skyscraper cabinet floor model radio, $199.50.
They call that the skyscraper. It looks like the grandfather.
Don't they look like a grandfather clock to you?
Yeah. So they call it a skyscraper.
Call it a
then.
skyscraper.
What that? Now I think that's a nice looking radio. That next one you got.
Yeah.
What is it?
That's
Is that a Zenith?
That's a vintage Outwater Ken floor model console, tube radio, 1930s, model 328. Brought $175.
Well, that's surprising how little the floor models
Very
bring.
reasonable and good looking.
Yeah. So a person
Thought
want
that they would be worth more.
Yeah,
Instead of,
Some of them are exactly what Ray said, though. They look like a piece of. They are beautiful.
yeah, they're very pretty. Yeah.
That one looked just like a
Well, give us a couple more. We're gonna have to take a break, Ronnie.
Yeah,
We're gonna
gotta-
get into microphones and studio equipment.
A vintage Stromberg Carlson 58L wooden cabinet model floor radio, $200, 1 bid. And then we have a floor model Zenith radio with mahogany wood cabinet from the 30s, brought $199.95.
All right. Well, can we call that 200?
We can very well call that 200, and it really looks like a little jukebox.
Yeah, I know. Really, to let you know, when they did start building jukeboxes, they actually used those radio cabinets. The companies that were building jukeboxes actually used their radio cabinets up because they built radios also. With that, you ready to take a little break?
Let's do it. We'll be back with more Let's Talk Antiques on Thunder Radio.
Hello, I'm Pick and Rick T from CFC, best place to get you used auto parts and all types of metals to repurpose for your needs. Just take a drive down 55, see this handsome guy, stop on by. Check out our computer for hundreds of autos to locate the make and the model of the part you need. $2 fee is all you pay. Sign in, get a hand stamp, it's good for all day. Bring in your tools, get the parts you need pulled, and use a wheelbarrow to lighten the load. Pay for your parts, prices you'll be fond of. Each part's price the same, Chevy or Honda. Get exchange warranty for 30 days too. Swap out the parts you don't need for the parts that you do. Happy picking!
Madeline's Antiques and Uniques at 6107 Murfreesboro Road in Manchester has been helping collectors find just the right thing since 2008. With 40 quality dealers and a constantly changing inventory of collectibles from the 1800s to the present, they have many unique items in the store and new things coming in daily. Are you looking for the perfect lamp or clock to finish your collection? A vintage lunchbox from your childhood? Well, you can find that plus any number of other unique items in their huge building. With their easy access off I-24, they meet many travelers from around the world and just around the corner that come to buy and sell antiques, or just to stop and have a free cup of coffee and a cookie while browsing around the store. Come visit owner Madeline Kemp and travel back in time at Madeline's Antiques and Uniques. So many memories.
My name's John Hirschman. I'm one of the original 6 owners of P&H Rentals. Started the company 30 years ago when we saw a need for individual, construction, industrial, and commercial storage. We have trailers and containers for lease and sell. Our physical location is 2947 Old Manchester Highway, Tullahoma, Tennessee. My phone number is area code 931-273-4252.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
All right, folks, we're back with Let's Talk Antiques.
Okay, so we've went and made the whole round. So we've done the radio. So now we're going to go back to the recording studio and see what some of their recording stuff that's used to be that they use stuff, right? You have one here that you want to talk about.
Let's say the top selling one right now, or that sold recently, was an SSL, which stands for Solid State Logic, 4040 E Series recording console with G Series upgrades. G Series is what you wanted.
What does the 4040 stand for? Do you know?
It's just what model. It's probably
just
40 channels.
40 channels.
40 channels actually too.
Okay.
And it went for $20,000 for the buy it now. And when I was in Nashville, this console would have been worth $200,000 easily.
So you think maybe the buy it now was the guy just?
I just think that people are recording digitally now, and they don't use people don't really use the consoles as much, and maybe they just wanted to get rid of it too. So giving a good deal on it, but man, that's amazing.
You said we could put a recording studio together pretty reasonable now, right?
Yeah, we could. Now, of course, the reason that you can get stuff reasonable now is people don't really come in to use a recording studio as much.
Well, keep going.
Okay, here's a Harrison MR4, which is a 16-channel analog recording console. Harrison was made in Nashville. And when I was graduating, going to MTSU, we toured them as part of a field trip we had when I went to MTSU. And
are they still in business?
I don't think they are anymore. So this is $2,000 for went for a 16-channel console. That would have been really nice. Let's see, we got some digital things going for $1,900. Here's a 4-channel console. Toft Audio, which is a high dollar brand, $1,500 for a 4-channel.
What would you have done with a 4-channel though?
It would have been for mastering probably.
Oh, okay.
Like 2 channels. The 4 channels would be like your stereo, 2 stereo tracks, how you'd blend them together, and then it's got a master and a stereo adjustment.
It looks almost like a cash register to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can see the slides once you really look at it, but it's got the shape of a national cash register.
Yeah. Here's some new.
What about that one part?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Here's a Trident console, which is a really old style console that everybody loved. I hardly got to work on them. Here's an 80-pound recording console power supply. Went for $1,500. Was the buy it now on it?
Got a 5-year warranty though.
Yeah.
So they must have rebuilt it.
Yeah, so I guess, and that's why you always had air conditioners running.
One more thing, we got to get out of here. We've run out of time.
Hang on, let me jump to microphones here. You got a Telefunken ELA 250 tube mic, went for $18,500, a nice German vintage microphone.
All right, with that, we're going to have to get out of here. Okay. We've run out of time. You've talked us out.
Wow.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't you? Okay.
We'll do it again next week at 10 o'clock. Let's talk antiques on Thunder Radio.